Welcome to my equipment guide for the Trarg set. This is a set that you cannot craft, and right now the only way to find it is in Season 2.2, Dark Path Traveled. Here are the 6 pieces of the set, and you can find it in this dungeon, the Season 2.2 dungeon, either alone, spending loot tickets or fighting, or in a party. Of course, you can also find the equipment pieces if you purchase any of the caches of this season. However, I always advise to save your ancient coins unless you specifically want the unique item for the season. Don't spend it there. So I have all 6 pieces at Mythic rarity, which is rare for me, but I was finally able to get the gloves. That was the last piece that I was looking for. It cost me almost 2 months of farming, but finally I did find it. So let's have a look at the set bonuses first. With 2 pieces, when matching 8 or more yellow gems, gain 10 speed. 4 pieces, when dealing ice damage, there is a 50% chance to reduce the enemy's speed by 25 for 4 turns. If their speed is already 0, gain 10 speed instead. And for the 6 pieces, when frozen or terrified at start of turn, 85% chance to consume the status effect and gain 20 speed. These set bonuses are bad. They're really bad. Usually, for most sets, there are exceptions, of course, but for most sets, the 6 pieces bonus is not very good. Sometimes the 2 and the 4 one are good, but these are really bad, all 3 of them. Maybe the 2 pieces, if you're playing a yellow paladin, maybe they can be helpful. But the thing is, your base speed is 163, the maximum is 600, and by using runic boots, you can get 600 speed in 2 turns. So 10 speed is not really gonna make any difference. However, this is not a set you look for the set bonuses. This is a set you look for the individual pieces. So let's start with the weapon. On matching colored gems, this is red, so it's red gems, 35% chance to pick a random red gem and destroy it and all the gems to the left of it. I wouldn't say it's bad, but there are definitely much better weapons out there. Just keep the weapon in case you need it for a PvP restricted arena that only allows you to use specific weapons, but otherwise, bad weapon. Don't recommend it. Next, let's talk about the necklace. If the enemy is faster than me, 40% chance to create 4 big 1 gems at the start of the turn. The thing is, it's not colored gems, it's any type of gems including skulls. The percentage chance is only 40%, and it's only if the enemy is faster than you are. Maybe on round 1 on PvP it might have some use. Otherwise, another bad, I don't recommend using piece of equipment. And next, let's talk about the shoulders. If the enemy is faster than me, gain 30% light damage resistance. If the enemy is slower, gain 30% ice damage resistance. Again, another item that doesn't make much sense. I mean, it makes sense from the perspective of the 2 and the 4 set bonuses, but really bad shoulder piece. And that's for the 3 really bad or mediocre, let's say, pieces of equipment. The other 3 pieces of equipment are awesome. So let's talk about them. The Trarg helm. At Mythical, 100% chance to start the battle with haste for 3 turns. Haste increases the amount of mana you get from matches by 50%. And this 50% is on top of all the other bonuses. So if you have the maximum amount of mana per piece, which is 19 at a uh, mastery of 5,000, let me check. Yes, 5,668. You get 19 mana points um, per gem. If you add that for spells of the same color, you'll increase that number by 180%. If it's on position 1, that will be 53 mana per gem for your position 1 spell, and this increases that 53 by additional 50% for a total of 79, I think is the total, or 80. So excellent piece of equipment, especially if you're using a build that requires a lot of mana, certain spells that require a lot of mana. For example, if you're using a green shaman, let's check this out, with Savage Juju that costs 260. Using that piece of equipment can be really beneficial, especially when you start that your masteries are not very good. Is an excellent piece of equipment for all types of builds. Also, if you're using a rainbow build that depends on exploding gems for mana, the additional 50% for 3 turns is really good. However, the problem with this item is that if it's not mythical, if it's legendary, it's only an 80% chance. If it's epic, it's only a 60% chance. And if it's rare, it's only a 40% chance. So unless you have it at least, in my opinion, legendary, which gives you 80%, it's not really worth using. But if you have it at mythical, it's an excellent piece of equipment. Next, let's talk about the Trarg gloves. For any physical build, when you start and you don't have critical hit chance from attributes, in my opinion, this is the best piece of equipment that you can use. It increases your critical hit chance for every 10 points of speed above 100. Now, let me filter it out. If you're using any blue build, you want to use Bloodfang Boots together with it, gain 25% speed when casting a blue spell. If you're using a dark build, you can use the Night Boots, add 120% of attack damage bonus to speed. And if you're using any other color build, you want to use the Runic Boots, gain 15% chance, gain 15% speed now when I cast a spell. Any of these 3 boots, depending on the color of your build, will boost your Trarg gloves. So in round 2, you will have a decent amount of critical hit chance, and on round 3, you will have maximum critical hit chance. Eventually, you want to replace these gloves with something better when you have enough critical hit chance from your attributes, but these gloves will help you a lot with any physical build when you start. Now, as I said before, the maximum speed is 600. So if you have the Trarg gloves on Epic, it will add 100% critical hit chance for every 10 speed above 100, which means that it will cap at 50%. If you have it on legendary, it's 1.5, which will cap at a speed of 600 with a 75% chance to crit. Remember that the maximum is 80%, so legendary ones will give you almost the maximum, and Trarg gloves will give you theoretically plus 100%, but due to the um, cap of 80%, it will cap at 80. However, remember that when you fight in the arena in versus, your opponent's cunning will reduce your critical hit chance. So if you have Trarg's gloves, for example, the mythical ones, and I don't have anything else, they will go up to 100% minus the 46%, it will mean it will cap at 53.8%. So that extra critical hit chance is not completely lost here in PvP. It's just used to compensate for the opponent's uh, penalty. And finally, well, as I said, this for any physical build, hands down, pun intended, these are the best gloves you can use when you start. They do make a huge difference. And finally, the Trarg belt. Increase power by 12% if my speed is higher than the enemy. Again, your base speed is 163. Here I have a bonus. I think it's from, it's not from the helm. It's from the shoulders. But most of the time in PvE, your speed will be faster than your opponent. And if it isn't, most builds anyway use the boots that I showed you earlier. So if your speed is not higher on round 1, it will be very likely higher on round 2. And you get a flat 12% increase in power. This is one of the best, if not the best, belt for an elemental build. I use it on my shaman. This belt is actually from my shaman's build. That's why it has ice damage, ice starting mana, and experience bonus. But for any elemental build, this is an excellent, excellent belt. Probably the best one. If you are using a physical build, it's not bad, but there are better options. I personally prefer the Esgar Bandolier for the extra skull gems, or you can use the Warlord. Let's see if I have a Warlords here. Is this? No. Okay. I need to filter it. Yeah, this one. The Warlord's Wrap that will increase your power every time you match skull gems. So yeah, for physical builds, there are other options, but for elemental builds, this belt is amazing. So to recap, a set that you don't really care about the set bonuses, but with an excellent headpiece for all builds, especially when you start, but also if you're running a rainbow build is excellent. The gloves that are the best starting piece of equipment for any physical build, together with the boots. Obviously, don't forget to add the boots to the gloves, otherwise their power is not going to be very impactful. And the belt, which is, again, in my opinion, the best piece, the best belt for any elemental build. And that's what I have about the Trarg set. If you find this video useful, please like, comment, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.